I'm not quite sure how to say this, but I really liked a movie again. It's been 10,000 years since I last enjoyed a film after a slew of absolute garbage has made its way onto Netflix and HBO Max. This is going to be a spoiler-free review, so if you don't want anything ruined, this is fine. You'll be okay. It's only going to be a few minutes long, I promise. We're going to get through it quick. I went into Quiet Place too fresh, not a trailer to be found. My expectations were tepid. I wasn't too high on the idea of a sequel. I wasn't dismissing it outright. I think John Krasinski proved he's a good writer, clearly a good director, clearly a good actor. So why not, keep this franchise going? We'll see where it shakes out. The huge thing a lot of sequels have is falling into the trappings of doing the same thing over again. And thankfully, I can say Krasinski takes the story in a different direction, totally different plot. Of course, some of the things we love are back. You have to have some familiarity to keep the franchise going. So humans are once again facing those nasty aliens that are super fast and can pick up the littlest sound. Emily Blunt's character Evelyn has to deal with her new child that she brought into this topsy-turvy world, so that's a whole other thing. Plus she has her other kids, Regan and Marcus, who are competent in their own right, but they're still, they just lost their dad in the last movie, so there's a lot of pain. There's a lot of anguish. And the thing that Krasinski did so well in the first doubles down in this one, which is the family drama, the family heart, which is often missing in horror-type films. People just don't typically care that much about each other in these types of movies, and it's great seeing it. It's great having those more quiet moments. We're in the quiet place, so it's got a couple layers to it, I think, there. I'm not going to give you any plot points. I'm not going to give you any story beats. I highly suggest you go into this fresh, so don't leave it to me to spoil it for you. Instead, I'll just praise the film a tiny bit longer. Cinematography, I think, looks even better than the first. The music, much more noticeable this time. I found those heavy beats, that looming, threatening, booming sound in the background, much more threatening, much more engaging this time. Has a bit of a Last of Us vibe to it, which I dug. I like that there's more traversal around the environments. I like that we're seeing more interesting locations. There's also this nasty idea in Hollywood that if you have a sequel, you need to make it bigger, louder, more complicated. And I think this one does a great job of keeping that same tone the first one did. It's still very much shown through the eyes of the family members. The aliens are still kept very mysterious. We still don't really know exactly what happened here, where these things came from. Krasinski's competent enough to know that that's what makes it more engaging, is the unknown, the Jaws factor. We know there's a looming beast under the water. That's our threat. We need to take care of it. There's no reason to branch off into 14 different subplots with characters that are unlikable or that we don't care about. That amazes me that so many movies today think they have to have that. The best, most successful movies in history are the ones that are simple, straightforward, easily understandable pictures, without all the noise and BS thrown on top. Are there any issues with the film? Of course, yes. There's some plot holes that you could find, or you could question how things happen the way they do. Like off the top of my head, how Regan has hearing aids, but I never see her change her batteries out. I mean, they last for legitimately 24 hours to 48 hours, and then you have to swap out the batteries. There's little tiny ones. She must just have a giant chest full of them, but we don't ever see it, and it's never an issue. Crap like that you could easily dig into. I've said this before, if a movie is competently done, and you have likable leads, and the story is moving at a good pace, I will gladly suspend some disbelief. But for the majority of this picture, I didn't care at all about any of that stuff. Everything worked very well. It's got some really intense set pieces. There's 3 or 4 of them that I was just watching the movie thinking, damn, this is great. This is really fun. It made me feel at least 2 or 3 times like I was sitting in one of those rides at Disney or Six Flags where you're just kind of moving around in the chair, getting that haptic feedback. I was on a ride and I was just all for it. Take me wherever you want, Krasinski. I'm in. Maybe I'm high on the hog because I've seen a lot of bad movies lately, so this was refreshing. And I don't know if high on the hog is I don't know if that's an expression, but I'm expressing it. But I really enjoyed this. I had a blast. I think if you liked Quiet Place 1, you're going to love part 2 like I did. I'll be seeing it again with the family. So We did it! We finally saw a great movie for the year. Let me know if you saw it in the comments, like the video if you had a good time, subscribe if you haven't, because there's plenty of good stuff here, I think. I mean, I'm a little biased, I guess, but I think there's some good stuff here. And I'll hopefully see you around next time.